Hermes, the gold standard of wealth, class, and handcrafted luxury, is now allegedly being ripped apart by the very people who once worshipped it. Storefronts once reserved for the elite have turned chaotic, as furious customers allegedly storm boutiques demanding answers, refunds, and in some cases, revenge. Why? Because a bombshell leak from Chinese manufacturers just blew the velvet curtain wide open. And what's hiding behind that pristine branding? Greed, deception, and a global scam that's got even the wealthiest clientele shaking with rage, according to viral exposés and jaw-dropping TikTok receipts. Hermes has allegedly been sourcing many of its exclusive products straight from Chinese factories, while slapping a Made in France tag on them.
Luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. The viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now in a frenzy over claims that some of the most iconic designer bags are actually born in the East.
And jacking up the price to grotesque levels. That $38,000 Birkin bag your favorite influencer flaunted, allegedly made for less than $2,500. The so-called hand-stitched craftsmanship, allegedly outsourced to assembly line workers in Guangdong. And now, people are realizing they weren't buying into heritage, they were buying into a lie. This isn't just a PR crisis. It's an identity crisis for the entire luxury fashion industry. Because if Hermes falls, every other high-end brand teetering on the same illusion is at risk of collapsing right behind it. And this scandal isn't quietly brewing behind closed doors. It's erupting in plain sight. Customers have allegedly been seen screaming at sales associates. TikToks are going viral, showing people walking into Hermes stores with printouts of the Chinese manufacturer exposés, demanding that someone
almost finish the bags from China factories back to their own factories and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that.
Anyone explain what they actually paid for. And the worst part? Hermes can't seem to stop the bleeding. Their silence is being interpreted as guilt, their lawsuits as cover-ups, their brand on the verge of becoming radioactive. But if you think Hermes is the only one sweating right now, buckle up. Because this exposé may have just cracked open a vault of secrets across the entire luxury ecosystem. The most shocking part? The source of this luxury industry implosion isn't some anonymous internet troll or disgruntled ex-employee. It's the actual Chinese manufacturers, the people who claim to have been making these exclusive goods all along. And they're not whispering. They're shouting, loud, public, unapologetic. Several verified factory owners have stepped forward with receipts.
Put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. There are no manuals or cheat sheets. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
So Hermes has put out a response to China, and they have like a video in a factory sort of showing people trying to show that they're actually the ones who are making the bags in a factory somewhere in France.
Videos, photos, production orders, alleging that companies like Hermes have long relied on Chinese labor to mass-produce products that are later relabeled to appear European-made. In one video that exploded across Chinese social media and has since made its way to US platforms, an anonymous worker holds up what appears to be a genuine Hermes bag, complete with stitching, stamping, and hardware, and then zooms out to reveal the Chinese assembly line it came from. No rolling hills of France, no Parisian atelier, just fluorescent lights and conveyor belts. One manufacturer, who reportedly handled production for multiple high-end houses, claimed that a single Birkin bag cost roughly $1,450 to make.
I spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
Even factoring in high-quality materials and labor. Yet Hermes turns around and sells that same bag for $25,000, $30,000, even $38,000 depending on the season. And the kicker? According to these whistleblowers, brands then stamp these bags made in France purely for optics.
Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag. This that you've just seen The perlage, you need to be very skilled and very
allegedly exploiting legal loopholes where a product only needs a portion of the assembly done in France to carry that label. That means the handles might be stitched in Paris, but the bag assembled in Shenzhen. And if these claims are true, we're not talking about rare exceptions. We're talking about the norm. It's not just bags either. Belts, wallets, scarves. Even some shoes and watch straps have allegedly been produced in the same facilities. What's more, these manufacturers claim they were bound by aggressive NDAs and brand-imposed secrecy, effectively gagged from telling the truth until now.
Some of Hermes products are made in China. Towels are from Fuyue in Shandong. They also make products for Chanel and IKEA. Beddings are from Yue in Shandong. Men's shoes are from Shachi in Shandong. Tableware are from Gaochun in Jiangsu.
It was my first time shopping at Hermes, and let me tell you how it went. We got a lot of requests, do Hermes next, and that's why we're here in the Highland Park Mall.
In Italy, made in China, or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way, because some brands get real creative when it comes to made.
So why are they speaking out? According to insiders, many of these manufacturers are tired of being scapegoated. In recent years, luxury brands have started severing ties and denying involvement, allegedly to maintain their pure European image. That betrayal, paired with mounting financial pressure and increased Western scrutiny, allegedly pushed these factories to expose the brands they once protected. And if what they're showing the world is even half true, then the entire premise of luxury, the idea that you're paying for unmatched craftsmanship, heritage, and exclusivity, just got obliterated. Hermes Response expanded. Hermes didn't wait long before lawyering up. Within days of the viral expose gaining traction, the brand launched a full-scale legal offensive, suing the Chinese manufacturers for defamation, intellectual property theft, and breach of contract. On paper, it looks like Hermes is trying to protect its brand. But to many observers, it looks more like a high-end cover-up in motion. According to multiple sources close to the case, Hermes is vehemently denying any official connection to the manufacturers now speaking out. Their legal filings accuse the factories of forging documents, misusing trade secrets, and attempting to impersonate their operations. But here's the thing, if Hermes really had nothing to hide, why are they allegedly threatening whistleblowers with gag orders instead of addressing the accusations head-on? And the timing couldn't be worse. The lawsuits dropped almost immediately after damning footage hit Chinese and Western social media platforms, footage showing rows of Hermes products on conveyor belts inside undisclosed factories. The speed of the legal action? It didn't. Looked like damage control. It looked like panic. Some insiders claim Hermes tried to quietly buy silence first, allegedly offering cash settlements to key individuals in exchange for retractions. When that failed, they brought in the big guns, international law firms with a reputation for making people disappear from the media spotlight. But the manufacturers didn't fold. In fact, the more Hermes pushed, the more evidence seemed to surface. Documents, production schedules, even alleged emails tying middlemen back to brand representatives in Paris. Now, Hermes is stuck in a legal nightmare. They either continue denying involvement and risk more leaks, or they admit partial, outsourcing and destroy their entire brand mythology. And as luxury consumers watch this unfold in real time, the trust they once had in Hermes is beginning to crumble, brick by brick, bag by bag. But even Hermes's elite PR machine can't control what happens next, because the people they betrayed, they're pissed. Consumer reactions expanded. What started as whispers on Reddit has exploded into full-scale outrage across the internet. Former customers, many of whom spent tens of thousands of dollars on Hermes bags, are allegedly flooding boutiques demanding refunds, explanations, and in some cases, justice. They thought they were buying legacy, prestige, handcrafted artistry, what they may have actually bought. A 1400 bag with a $36,000 lie stitched into every seam. The betrayal hits deep. For decades, Hermes has marketed itself as the pinnacle of artisan tradition. Bags were supposed to take days to make, crafted by a single artisan, signed, personalized. What Chinese manufacturers are now claiming suggests the opposite: assembly line production, outsourced materials, and bulk order strategies more typical of fast fashion than couture. The backlash is brutal. TikTok is overflowing with creators posting side-by-side comparisons of Hermes bags and similar-looking dupes, only to conclude the dupe might actually be closer to the real thing than the Hermes original. Fashion forums that once obsessed over bag colors and stitching patterns are now dissecting supply chain contracts. And Reddit threads like Hermes Truth or Scam are gaining thousands of comments per day. Luxury resale sites are even reporting a drop in demand for Hermes bags, as buyers hesitate to invest in what could now be perceived as a glorified markup scheme. One reseller even posted, "My clients aren't paying $30K for something made in a Chinese warehouse with a French tag. That's not luxury, that's fraud with a silk ribbon." Influencers and fashion bloggers, once paid handsomely to push Hermes, are going quiet. Some are allegedly deleting old videos or switching off comments. Others are flipping, publicly denouncing the brand, and sharing their own theories about the company's alleged deception. One viral video simply showed a woman holding a Birkin, with the caption, "I thought I was buying art. Turns out I bought Alibaba with an accent." The emotional response is clear. It's not just about the money, it's about the manipulation. Consumers aren't angry because something was expensive. They're angry because that expense was supposed to mean something. And now, that meaning has been shattered. And if Hermes thinks this backlash will blow over, they might want to look around, because more brands are being dragged into the spotlight next. The scandal isn't isolated to Hermes. Other luxury brands like Prada, Chanel, and Louis Vuitton are also facing scrutiny over similar practices. The revelations have sparked a broader conversation about transparency and authenticity in the luxury goods market. Consumers are demanding more accountability from brands that have long relied on their perceived exclusivity and craftsmanship. The exposure of these alleged practices has prompted a reevaluation of the luxury goods market. Consumers are no longer willing to accept inflated prices without transparency and authenticity. The trust that once underpinned the luxury industry is being challenged, and brands must adapt to this new reality or risk losing their loyal customer base.